decided that I was going to start my day off with a Fairlife protein shake. Next up is breakfast. And it's breakfast time. This morning I decided to go with this scrumptious Nutrisystem frozen cinnamon roll. It has 180 calories. It has 4.5 grams of fat, 1.5 grams of saturated fat, 29 carbs, 5 fibers, and 7 grams of protein. For those who are interested, who may be new to my channel, or who are interested in finding out more about the food for whatever reason before you order, I do give you a lot of details. For those that hear it over and over, I apologize. But I still think it's important to share that information for whatever the reason. I just feel that way. Okay, so this comprises 1 power fuel and a smart carb. Okay, and I'm supposed to have an additional power fuel when I'm on the 1200 calories, which is considered week 2. I tend to fluctuate. I don't always eat all of those calories. Some days I eat more than those calories. I do have a lap band, for those that are not aware, so that does influence my eating behavior, especially when I'm eating things that I'm supposed to be eating. It seems to kick in then and do its job. A little talk about my almond milk. Since the beginning, I never gave up having my almond milk in my coffee every day. I felt for my personal self that was not going to work for me. And that is a personal choice. I am by no means encouraging anyone who's just starting, especially if you're just starting and you're new to the program. I wasn't new to the program when I started this time around in February. But if you have a lot of weight to lose, or even if you don't, it would be a really good idea. I would encourage you to follow the system the way it's set up for you. There are reasons for that. However, my other thought process is, if you're going to fall off the wagon because you couldn't have your almond milk in your coffee, take it as an extra, pour out a cup for the day, and just take it as an extra, even if you're on week 1. I'm not, again, encouraging anyone. Please don't listen to me. Listen to your own self. That's most important for your success, but I just can't see someone not succeeding because they absolutely can't give up almond milk. Now, if we're talking other creamers, that's a different story. Again, some people are successful using other creamers. I'm not going to stand here and tell you they're not, but for me personally, whatever you're going to do with creamer, make sure you measure it out before you get started for your day so that you actually know what you're doing, even if you're counting the creamer as extras in week 2 and beyond, because that can get you into a lot of calorie overage. It's real easy to just put a dollop into a cup. We all know that, if we're not measuring. Anyway, on to what's next. If I am going to have a snack, I've already had a shake. I will have this string cheese. This is the 80 calorie part skim mozzarella cheese. If I am hungry between now and lunch, I do plan for, my snacks. Even though I don't always show them, I may have them, but it's not likely I'm going to eat that cheese. But I do have a backup plan. Even if I were to leave the house, I would have at least that, or I'd have some almonds on hand so that I don't let my sugar drop or get overly hungry and make bad choices. Next up will be lunch. For my lunch today, I decided to go with the Nutrisystem frozen broccoli and cheese melt. It has 210 calories, and there are, let me see if I can get that in so that if somebody wants a screenshot, 4 grams of fat, 0.5 gram saturated fat, 34 carbs, 5 fibers, and 11 grams of protein. What I've done with it is, I first took it and wrapped it and put it in the microwave for a minute. Then I put it into the air fryer because I like everything crispy and browned. And I turned it once, and I think it was in there for 8 minutes. But again, everybody's air fryer is different, so if you do it, you'll have to go accordingly and pay attention so that you don't burn it. So I sliced it in half, and I topped it with some of my very favorite mushrooms that I've sauteed in the usual way. And then I put a sprinkle of grated gold, my pecorino romano. And on the side, I decided to have a salad. I am quite hungry today, and that's probably because the weather has really cooled off. Not sure otherwise why. And what I have here is a combo of cucumbers, roasted red pepper, and romaine lettuce, and raw onion. And I put a tablespoon of my homemade balsamic vinaigrette for less than 5 calories, so that's free. And then I topped it with 10 calories worth of my homemade croutons, which is also free. And speaking of my dressing, I will be putting the recipe in the description box for you in this video. Finally, okay, next up is going to be for my afternoon snack. If I have one, it'll be probably a small apple or half an apple and a cheese stick for 50 calories on that cheese stick. Okay, see you in a bit. For my dinner tonight, I decided to make a flex meal because I did have rotisserie chicken that I wanted to eat that I picked up at BJ's yesterday. So well, let me start with this. I used 2 low-carb wheat tortillas, and they're 60 calories a piece. So that makes 120 calories for my smart carb. And then I have about a cup of the sauteed mushrooms in here. And what you can't see is a Power Fuel worth of Velveeta shreds. And then I have a Power Fuel worth of the chicken for a grand total of 240 calories. So my dinner tonight is 360 calories, which I'm good with because I have the calories. And what I added in was, this is 2 tablespoons for 10 calories. The sugar-free sweet and spicy GUs, I put about a tablespoon in each one or less. So that's doing it for my dinner, and I'll be back with dessert. Hey there, friends. How's everybody doing today? I hope well. I'm doing well. And it's been another day of eating passing by now. Why am I not showing you my dessert? Because, truthfully, I am not ready to have it yet. And so I'm thinking that since I was very undecided, I'm going to go with the lemon cooler cookie. These are so delicious. They taste like they have butter in them. They're really good. And what I'll probably do with this is maybe have a little Cool Whip, dip it in some Cool Whip. But I'm not going to have this now. I'm going to have this later on. Truthfully, I didn't even really finish dinner yet. It came out very good. If you don't feel like cooking and it's a flex day, buy yourself a rotisserie chicken. You can get, if there's 2 people, you can get, I have a lot of chicken. I don't eat that much chicken at one time. And I kind of regret buying the ham and the turkey breast yesterday because now I'm going to be trying to eat those up with the chicken, like all at the same time. Jim doesn't eat that. He'll eat the chicken though. But yeah, chicken, you can heat it up, put sauce on it of some sort, even chicken gravy type sauce, or make yourself some cauliflower mash, or make yourself, a portion of mashed potato, make it with chicken broth. There's a lot you can do with that chicken. And it keeps you from having to worry about cooking, especially now that we're coming into summer weather. You don't want to put an oven on maybe, or even the air fryer heats the kitchen up at this point. It doesn't really take much. So anyway, what else did I want to say? Mushrooms were very good as usual. If you like mushrooms, I definitely recommend sauteing them in the pan with a little olive oil spray if you haven't tried that yet. And I just wanted to mention that for people who are new to Nutrisystem, it can be very overwhelming when you first try to get started, trying to understand the concepts, or I should say the system, when you have to do your flex meals. So again, just, it is 80 to 120 calories. You should not be going over 4 grams. Actually, Terry DeVesta was kind enough to send me this chart, which is backwards. Naturally, you're not seeing it correctly, but it goes through the meal and the entree. Everything, all the macros, the calories, the fat, the sodium, based on how many calories it is. And I will try to put this up in the Facebook group, because there's no way for me to put it into a description box for a video. So if you're interested in seeing it, I could probably download it. Well, it is downloaded on my phone, and just upload it into the Facebook group for everyone to look at. It really gives you a nice little summary in one place of the generalized of what you should be eating and how much of what. The only thing it doesn't give, excuse me, is the saturated fat, but your saturated fat should not go more than 4.5 per serving, 4.5 grams. You really don't, ideally that's the top end. You want it to be ideally less than that. Because sometimes we go to the top end and it's like, let's say 5.5 or 5 or whatever. It might sound like, oh, that'll be okay. But it may be okay once in a while, but it could really affect your weight loss if you are doing that on a regular basis, because you simply just don't know that the top end of things is really, in terms of your sugar, your fat, and your carbs, we shouldn't be shooting for the top end. We should be shooting for the middle to the lower end. Again, that doesn't mean we can't have them, but it's just a mindset of keeping that in the back of your mind when you're picking and choosing your foods, for your snacks and your flex meals. It's not off limits, but you also want to make sure that you are trying to stay on the lower end to develop that habit. Because in the end of the day, what will keep the weight off is that we have new habits, better habits than we used to have. The better thought process about how we choose our foods day to day. I'm not talking about when we go out to a party or something, or an event. I'm talking about our day to day, how we think about food and what we look for when we're choosing the different foods, that now we're educated into, in terms of our macros and what the calorie count should be for things. Very different from even how I used to do it. I used to do it, just look at the calories, and guess what? I stalled and stopped losing, because not all calories are created equal. So Nutrisystem has already given us, in the foods that we receive from them, they've taken care of all of that. So now it's just a matter of learning, when we do our flex meals, one at a time, to develop the better habits and be consistent with that, so that when we're done and we aren't necessarily having Nutrisystem foods 3 times a day, 5 days a week anymore, when we reach goal, that we can carry over what we've learned and make it our life, and it should become a lifestyle. And that's the only way the weight's going to stay off. It's not about, maybe for some people it is. When I did this the first time, I had 2 events to go to, and I had 3 months to get however much I was getting off at the time, 30 pounds maybe. I never got lower than 145. I stopped, and I shouldn't have, because that's overweight for me. But in any event, my point is that people come to the table with many different reasons of why they're doing this. I'm doing it for health. I think most people, if you've reached the point of where you're morbidly obese, that you're doing it for your health too. You may want to go to an event and look nicer than what you, or feel, but you really ultimately, I would think, I can't speak for all people. Again, I'm not here to do that. But I'm speaking in general terms, that if you're doing this and you're in that category of weight, that you're doing it because you want to get healthy. Yeah, you want to lose the weight, but coming along with that is that, you know, if you're pre-diabetic or you're diabetic, you want to get that under control. If you have high blood pressure and cholesterol, you want to get that under control. Because oftentimes those things come along with obesity and being morbidly obese. It kind of goes hand in hand. That especially as you get older, you know, you might get away with things. We get away with things. I did too when I was younger. I didn't develop high blood pressure because my blood pressure generally is low. It's considered low. It's good for me, but it's low for other people. So for me, when I see 120/80, that's high for me, even though no doctor will agree with me on that. That's my own personal perspective about myself and my body, I then take my HCTZ because that's too high. And that keeps me at least at one, depending on how much salt I eat. But anyway, we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about ourselves and why we're doing this and certain things that might make it easier or better. And the perspective, the mental perspective that we're trying to develop along our journey to getting healthy and losing all of this weight that we have to lose, myself included. You know, as I said, this is my first time around in losing weight. So anyway, on that note, I'm going to say I will see you in the next video. I'm going to thank everyone very much, as always, for watching my videos. I much appreciate it. If you could shoot me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't, if you think about doing that. And if you could please leave a comment. I appreciate people's thoughts. I like other people's opinions on things. And if you have any questions, okay? All of my social media is in the description box. I will be putting the recipe for the balsamic vinaigrette in the description box. You may not see it right away because I have to upload the video and I have to cut and paste. It's a little bit of a thing for me. So if you don't see it the first time you look, just check back. It will be in there. And so thanks again. I'll say goodbye now.